This is Keith Helwig from Cops Corrections Videos. I'd like to take this opportunity to discuss something which is seldom mentioned, and that is the subject of officer override. Now, officer override, some people may be not familiar with the expression, but an officer override is that if I, as an officer, see another officer doing something which is blatantly illegal, violates someone's civil rights, or is just outright wrong, it's up to me to stop them from doing it. A prime example of this is the Derek Chauvin case. There were other officers on scene that saw what Derek Chauvin was doing, and none of them acted to stop him from kneeling on George Floyd. Now, these were younger officers, and I'm sure they probably didn't feel comfortable telling a more senior officer what to do. However, if one of those officers had just stepped up and said, "Hey, he's under control, let's sit him up, let's wait till the EMTs get here, take care of the situation," Derek Chauvin wouldn't be in jail. Black Lives Matter wouldn't have made millions. There wouldn't have been billions in property damage. There wouldn't have been a number of people killed. And to be honest, George Floyd would probably be off nodding in an alley high on fentanyl or heroin or some other such thing right now, alive and walking around. Now, officer override. When I was a captain, I always told my people before we went on a cell entry or any use of force that we were responsible for each other. That if any of us saw another officer acting inappropriately, it was up to them as a part of the team to stop that officer from doing it. And that included me as a captain. If I was doing something that they felt wasn't appropriate, I don't care if it was an officer fresh out of the academy, I don't care if it was an officer one when I was a captain, if there was a need for an officer override, do it. Now, have I had officer override performed on me? I didn't as a captain, but when I worked as a deputy sheriff, I did. I recall a specific incident where I was working a special assignment at a concert, and an individual decided that it was appropriate for him to urinate into a crowd of people. So, of course, I went there and I went to talk to the person, and I was talking to him, and he decided that a real good thing to do would be to throw a beer bottle at me. Well, you know, I'm kind of a big doofus, but I ducked the beer bottle and I took off after the guy. This was 20 years ago. I was a lot faster then. And I was just about ready to catch up the guy, and somebody clotheslined him. Well, he was coming back towards me. My 250 pounds was going full bore towards him, and I hit him like a freight train. Now, we went to the ground, and he had road rash starting from the top of his head going all the way down his chin. I hit the ground and I had road rash on my arm, and I chipped a bone in my elbow. I flipped the guy, I got him in cuffs, the whole works. And to say I was mad was probably an understatement. This guy really touched a nerve when he threw that beer bottle at me, and you know, just his whole actions. And another deputy stepped forward and they said, hey Helwig, you know, lighten up, we'll take it from here. You know what? I'm glad they did that. Not that I would have done anything to the person, but it brought my emotions and my aggression in check. It was something that needed to be done. I can't begin to count the number of times that officer overrides are performed on a daily basis. If you're an officer, whether you're a captain, lieutenant, sergeant, officer one, officer two, patrol officer one, patrol officer two, corporal, if you see another officer, whether it's your superior or whoever, doing something wrong, it's not only your job, it's your responsibility to speak up. You know, there's the blue code, the wall of silence. I call BS on that. We don't need a wall of silence if we all go out and we all do our jobs. And part of our jobs is making sure that everybody gets home safe at night, but part of our job is also making sure that we are all doing our job. So with that little bit of information, take it and use it as you will. Do not be afraid to do an officer override. Until next time, this is Keith Helwig from Cops Corrections. Stay safe and watch your back.